So a federal judge has blocked the Trump administration from laying off close to 5,000 federal workers, and many people saw this coming from miles away. And many people think it doesn't even matter. Because the federal judge is the same one, the one in Northern California, the one that blocked the probationary purge that was taking place. You know that one, where they were just kicking people to the curb and saying you had poor performance, but in reality, it had nothing to do with your performance. But the Trump administration appealed and went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court tilts conservative these days. The Supreme Court said it was likely legal, and they continued the probationary purge. So the same thing is likely to happen in this situation. And the judge knows it, but it hasn't stopped her from calling these actions illegal. From saying that what's happening here with this administration is they're trying to punish the opposing political party, the Democrats. And it's evident. There's audio clips, there's video clips everywhere. They're calling it the Schumer shutdown. They want to punish the Democrats. They want to completely strip away Democrat agencies. They're calling federal agencies that they believe only serve Democrats. They want to completely defund them. They want them gone. And this government shutdown, what are we on right now? It's like day 17. No agreement, no compromise. It's gotten so bad that they're pushing out this narrative. They're pushing out a message to the airports because the airports are impacted. During government shutdowns, that's one of the key indicators. The airport. People cannot fly on time, or their flight is delayed, or they can't fly the day that they booked the ticket. So the administration pushed out, the Department of Homeland Security, they pushed out the message that this is the Schumer shutdown. This is a Democrat's fault. They wanted to broadcast it from the TV screens in the airport. But a lot of airports, they were like, no, we're not doing that. It doesn't make any sense. Now, from the administration's perspective right now, you have the Justice Department, right? The Justice Department is saying, we don't even care about the legality of these layoffs. What we're challenging is the jurisdiction of the federal judge that's blocking it. Does she have the jurisdiction? And that's the easier legal battle to win. If she doesn't have the jurisdiction, then you don't even have to worry about the legality, right? You just cut it off right there. And what the Department of Justice is saying is this matter should go before the MSPB as a grievance. It shouldn't be handled by a federal judge in California. That prompted the federal judge to say, this hatchet is falling on employees' heads, and you're not prepared to say if it's legal? No, they're not. So this latest block, it covers 30 plus federal agencies, and it is supposed to halt all RIFF actions, the administration of the RIFF, the issuance of the RIFF, for at least 2 weeks. And then potentially there could be a longer injunction that follows. Agencies are supposed to submit RIFF plans within 2 business days. Do you really think that will happen? Do you think the agencies will meet that time and actually submit their RIFF plans? Absolutely not. Because we've heard this in the past. The agencies were ordered to submit their RIFF plan. They didn't do it. They were dragging their heels asking for extensions. And when they finally got the RIFF plans and they were reviewed, they were in shambles. It's really sloppy from the agency level. These RIFF plans are not mature. They're not developed. A lot of them are not. And it shows you clearly that it's not coming from the agency's leadership. No, it comes a level above that. It's coming from Russ. It's coming from someone inside of the Trump administration that is not in the agency. That is where the orders are coming from. Now, with union members, you could be scratching your head on this one, like, what do you mean the union? All the collective bargaining agreements have been cut, haven't they? Was there not an executive order that came out basically saying that because of national security, we can no longer have unions for the vast majority of federal workers? Yeah, you read that executive order. You weren't dreaming. That executive order came out. But the issue of should we have unions or not, the legality of that, it's still in the courts. There's people that are still paying their union dues, believe it or not. Talking to a guy yesterday, he said, I'm paying my union dues. Should I still pay my union dues? Yeah, they'll keep taking your money. But the thing with the union dues, they're not taking it out of your check automatically. So you have to make a conscious effort to pay them, but they're still getting paid. A lot of people are still paying them. Now, both sides, they're posturing, right? So for the Democrats, it's a healthcare issue when we're talking about the government shutdown. For the Republicans, it's all about downsizing. It's all about reducing government. But the president's threats to close Democrat programs forever, it seems a lot more vindictive than anything. And Trump's O&B director, Russ Volt, this guy was on an interview not too long ago, and he was talking about the layoffs that were going to take place because of the government shutdown. He called the government shutdown a rare policy opportunity to take advantage of. So he's talking about over 10,000 federal workers are going to be laid off. And it's done with the energy, and it's done with the attitude as this is a glorious thing. Now, it is one thing to do some workforce planning, to analyze what's going on in your agency and identify positions that potentially shouldn't be there, right? Could be some redundant positions. You might not need them, so you go ahead, you issue out severance, and you do it respectfully, and you thank them for their service, and you send them to the door. That's one way to do things. But to be interviewed and to talk about it as happily and so much excitement coming from Russ's mouth, and all the while what you're doing is you're firing middle-class workers. That's what it comes down to. Maybe you don't like the term firing. We can say you're laying them off. That's fine. We are cutting, how about that? We are cutting middle-class workers, and some of them are lower middle class. Your GS6, your GS7. Some of them fall under the category, financially speaking, they're lower middle class. But by destroying these middle-class jobs and not doing it in a precise or thoughtful manner. And how do we know that it's not being done in that manner? It's because of all the rescinded RIFF notices that we're hearing about. All the termination and then reinstatements because you realize you can no longer do the mission that you have been charged to do within that agency. That's how we know it's not precise. And I think that most Americans believe the reason why it's happening like this is to further a political agenda that most Americans, I would say, are not on board with. So a lot of people that supported the president throughout 2024 in order for him to be elected had no idea that he would decimate not just the federal workforce, also the contractors, the defense contracting, the government contracting, also a lot of the universities. And furthermore, I would say the local level governments that count on federal funds. They didn't have the idea. What they did, a lot of the people that I talked to, they looked at what happened during his first term, and they're like, okay, I understand how this individual thinks, but that didn't play out. That didn't come into fruition. We're seeing something completely different. So in addition to this, okay, we got contractors out there. You know, the federal government, when it comes to contracting, they end up spending a lot of money, a good deal of money. In fact, taxpayer dollars go to about 10 million government contractors through contracts and grants, both of them combined. And these people, they don't have back pay when they're furloughed. When they get furloughed, there's no back pay for them. A lot of them, they're just out of the money. So there's a new bill that was introduced to Congress in September last month, and they're trying to get these people paid to a certain amount. They're not going to get their full money back, but they could potentially get a portion of their money. So if you're interested in that, check this video out next. Stay updated by signing up to the free newsletter down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.